Hello everyone, it's Julie from Camellia Crafts. Welcome to my messy desk. And what have I got on it today? I've got my Memory Keepers Punchboards. Now if you're unfamiliar with these are little contraptions that will help you make certain things. And some of these things we love as junk journalers. I've got the frame punchboard, the envelope punchboard, I've got a gift bag punchboard, a teeny tiny envelope punchboard. Yeah, and the list goes on. So what I'm going to do today is show you the ones I've got and the ones I find most useful for junk journaling. Also the ones that I wouldn't buy again, or the ones that I've found useful in the past but I no longer find useful. You may have seen these. You may think, oh, that's a bit expensive to make one thing. Depends on that one thing is, doesn't it? And whether you make a lot of that one thing, I think. Some of them can be used to make more than just the thing that they were designed for. So what I'm going to do is I'll move them all off my desk and I will bring them back in one at a time and just show you how I use them. This is part of the ABC April 2025 challenge, and today's letter is P, so I thought punchboards. Right, I'll be back with you in 2 ticks. So here's the first one I'm going to show you, and I will say that I wouldn't buy this one again, and it is the tag punchboard. I've even been on the We Are Makers page on Amazon and they don't have this one on. I don't know if they're embarrassed about it, I just don't know. Right, why wouldn't I buy it again? Because I don't know if I got a dicky one, a faulty one, but sometimes that comes apart and it's just too simple. So how do we use it? I think it'll do a tag up to about 3 3/4 inches wide is the biggest one I've managed to fit in it, because you are restricted by this little peg here. And the idea is you put your tag in, and in fact it's gonna, no, 3 3/4 ain't gonna fit. So let me try my 3.5 one. Yeah, 3.5. Yeah, because you're restricted also by how far this piece will cut. So let's put this in, and you line the top of your tag up. I've just got a rectangle. It's 3 3/4 by whatever it is. The length you're not restricted by. We'll line that up with the D mark. We put that down and we cut. You see, it's too fiddly as well. This cutter thing is too small for my big chompy fingers. And do we put it, see what I mean? And I don't even know which side. There we go, the blade goes on that side. See, and I did a dedicated video on this one and I struggled with it on that. I just don't like it. That, yeah, it doesn't give a brilliant cut. D, line it up again, and the idea then is that you get a tag that is, see, I just don't like this. I do not like it. That one cut wonky. This is how I would make a tag, and you've probably seen this trick many times. I have these cards with random corners cut off. I line that up, I grab my scissors and I cut. You could even just cut a corner off and use the corner you've cut off to line that up and make sure you get the same angle as the guide. But I like to just use my little plastic cards. I spilt a box of jump rings. That to me looks much better than that, so I don't need, it's only about £10, but I don't need a tool to give myself a rubbish tag. I just don't. So that one, I would not buy it again. That's the tag punchboard. So yeah, it shows you the picture of what you can make. Ooh, oh yeah, it has a hole punch. See, I'm so unenamoured with this. It has markings on here to help you line that up. I just wanted to get this one out of the way. So yeah, oh, it's a nice little hole. I might use that on other things. But see, even that, look, I don't know what it is, where it was manufactured, but you just don't need this one. Bye bye, little punchboard. I'm putting you back in the drawer. So that's that one out of the way. Now this next one is the tab punchboard. I absolutely love this. I don't know if you can see this. This is what you can make. I'm just going to show you one tab today. Now, you make the tab shape here and then you use that for something else. So let me grab a piece of card and I'm going to make, I'm going to jump straight in and try and make a little file folder with a tab on. So you pop this little plastic thing in here. It does tell you, the instructions are all on it. One is for making a rounded corner, which is that first lot of holes. One is for making the side tab. So pop that in. We'll try this on this side first. Yay, we've got a rounded corner. Now if we move it to the other side, I'm going to pop it to the other one, and this will get you the side of the tab. Yeah, you get that shape. I absolutely love it. Now you've got to decide how long you want your tab to be. This will give you a marking for a small tab, a medium tab and a long tab. You have to take that out. You then line that up with that. I'm going to do the medium tab on this, medium. Then punch it again and it gives you that. And pop that back in so you don't lose it. I'm very tidy and precise with my punch boards. Then we're going to turn this all the way around. And what we do is we pop this in here, and the other cutting tool will allow you to cut this piece off altogether to make that into a file tab. Now there are ways and means to get certain sizes, but I don't know about you, but I'm not too keen on... I'll do this sideways until it's a while since I've used this. There's ways and means to make them certain sizes. I just make it A size. I'm like, yeah, that'll do me. Right, so that cut I've just made, let's cut that piece off, and I now have my file tab. Sometimes, yeah, this cut's not brilliant on these, which when it's for something like this, I don't mind. I just bring my bone folder in and it sorts it out. Can you see? With that tag one, no, I can't be bothered with that. Put that back in so you don't lose it as well. Good girl. Now all you've got to do, fold that up and crease your bottom. And you've got a little file folder. If you want all the other corners rounded, you can come in and use that board. Or what I will tend to do, I will just put it in the right hole first, woman. I'll just use my corner rounder. But today I will show you that you can do this. There you go. Because what do we say? Sharp corners are offensive. I don't like them. So now we've got our little file folder. How cute is that? That would look amazing in a junk journal decorated up. So we've got that. Now, on to the next one. Right, this next one is the frame punch board. I will have all these linked in the description, by the way, if you want to go and have a look at them. And a little tip, I don't buy them when they're full price. I don't think I've bought one of these at full price. I wait until they have a discount. Some of these currently do have a discount, so have a look. Right, this one, frame punch board. I've got a few of my Tim Holtz scraps out for this because I love doing them with Tim Holtz paper scraps. Now I'm just going to cut this piece down. I'm not too bothered there's a man on it. His face is a bit miserable, like I always say, so we're going to cut his face out. And I'm going to make a Polaroid style one with this. Now let's show you what you do. You've got guide marks here, and it tells you how thick your frame will be. And it goes from 1/4 of an inch all the way up to 1 inch. So let's make one with, let's do 1/2 inch. We'll do a 1/2 inch frame on this. So I'm going to do a 1/2 inch frame around 3 sides. And what you do is you get this, you pop it in and you punch. And that's the punch it makes. I've put those, put them in at 2 different places. I've done, see, we all go wrong. I've done that one at 1/2 inch, and I've done that one at 1/4 inch. You silly woman. You silly woman. So that's 1/2 inch. Let's move that to 1/2 inch. See what I'm going to do? I'm just going to snip his head off, chop his arm. So good at chopping people's heads off, and pretend that didn't happen. So now, you put those both in at 1/2 inch. Yes, they're both at 1/2 inch. Silly woman. Then when you pop it in, this will happen. Oh look, you've got a nice even gap, top and side. Yay! Then to get that corner, flip it over. You can do it and do your corner. Yay! There you go. The punch outs that come out are cute. You could use those as little photo corners or just for decoration. Or, you know, like you put corners on books, yeah? They are faux book corners. Imagine those decorated. You could put some metallic embossing powder on them. You could even cut them out of metallic paper. Right, so we've got the top of the frame done. Now I want the bottom of the frame a little bit deeper, so I'm going to move these on to the 1 inch. Yes, 1 inch. Both. I don't want both at 1 inch. I just want to leave that one at 1/2 inch. Do I even know what I'm doing? So I want the side still at 1/2 inch, but I want the bottom at 1 inch. So there you go. We've got a deeper, what is it, a border there than we have there. Flip it over. And we've got that. Now you might just want to put that in your journal. You might like the look of it. Oh, look, they look a little bit weird windows, don't they? Then what you do is you come over here, and this has a guide, and you set the guide to the same depth as your little border, and we know that was 1/2 inch. So we look on here, we find the 1/2 inch mark, and we set it to 1/2 inch. We tuck that in, take that, it will cut along that channel. You can see the 1/2 inch mark is lined up with the channel. And don't be too giddy with this or you'll carry on cutting. See what I mean? If you carry on cutting too far, you'll cut it off, and we just want to get that middle bit. So we do this side, keep it set at 1/2 inch. You know, I need to use this thing upside down with being right-handed. It works better for me. It just really does. And the same with that one, 1/2 inch. And then we have to alter this top one to 1 inch. It's not the top, it's the bottom. So move it along to the 1 inch mark. So it's just, I'm just showing you one thing with each board, very basic. And then cut that. And that middle is cut out, and there you have your frame. Now if you want to round, they always have built-in corner rounders, these machines, I like them. If you want to cut corners, you move that to the very end. It does say corner cutter, corner rounder. Pop that in and it will round your corners. Make sure it's straight, woman, and then you get a straight corner. There you go. Rounded corners. That's better. Have we done them all? One more. There we've got a frame. Now they're not always perfect. Sometimes like this I need to come in, just trim it up a little bit, but I don't mind that. There's no way on earth could I get that frame done as good by hand as I can with this machine. I've not had this long, so I'm using it for everything. I bought this one second hand off eBay, so that's always another option. A lot of these punch boards have been out quite a few years now, and people might have got tired of them and don't want them. So there we have that. Imagine that inked up, bit of sewing on, stick a few labels on. Oh, I did a video on that. I'll link that video as well. So that is the frame punch board. Let's pop that to one side and on to the next one. So my next one is this banner punch board. Now this was one of the early ones I bought. Excuse me. And yes, I use this to make banners for my kids, for the birthday parties. I made them for friends because it saves so much money. And I used to make cards in this shape as well. So just take a piece of paper. This is, it's 5.5 inches wide. I just cut it to what it would be, you know, if you'd got a piece of letter size paper and cut it in half. A4 paper will be a little bit too wide for the guidelines on this. So I would say 5.5 inches wide is, it's the widest I would use. So if we lift it up, you can see we've got marks that go along, marks that go down. You see a 5.5 inch piece of paper will fit perfectly between the two outer marks. And then we pop it in. Now you can pop it in at top, but it's best to just bring it down. Now my paper is, I don't know the length of it, but as long as it goes down further than the end of that, you will get your complete triangle. So I'm going to line it up there on the 8-inch mark. So I'm going to get an 8-inch banner. So can you see? Oh, I hope you can see. I hope I'm in shot. So I've got it lined up between those two white ones, and I've got it lined up along that blue one. Now pop that back down. This is magnetic, so it'll hold your paper. I then just like to check, because it always moves. When you put that down, it always moves. Whether that's a flaw in the punch board or not, I don't know. But it always moves for me. Maybe it's just a flaw in my usage. And then we get this. And I like to go from top to bottom. Cut down there, and the same there. I didn't go quite to the bottom. There you go, it's got to click, so then you know it's gone all the way to the bottom. You can tell I've not used this for a few years. I'm going to use it though. I'm going to use it in my junk journals. Go to the bottom, woman. Click, there you go. There you go, so we've got perfect triangle. Just cut your top off there. Had your paper been exactly 8 inches, you wouldn't have had that. So that's that. The other shape it will do is this. So we have to line it up. I'm going to line it up exactly at the top. So I'll line it between those two white lines again. I know it's lined up if I can't see them. And this time we cut like so. Put your blade in the right size. There. And again, I'm going to go from the outside. We'll take it out this time. And we've got that shape banner. I didn't go all the way to end. So just finish that off with your scissors, woman. Finish it off with your scissors. Yeah. When you get one of these, have a play. Yeah, I've not used this for yonks, and I've still managed to make 2 banners. Now you can then make a slightly smaller banner, you can layer them up. Now the other thing you can do is you can make tiny banners. And this is why I'm going to start using it again in my junk journaling. So I'm just going to nick a piece of that for now. I've picked a colour card I very rarely use in my journals. So let's make a teeny tiny one using just the bottom. So we lift it up. I'm going to make a little 2-inch banner. Yeah. So line that up, get that centred. Can hold that this time. Grab your blade, which you should put your blade back in there. But as you can see, well, to be honest, I've lost the blade that went with this. I've had to nick this from another one of my punch boards, which is another good thing about these. They're interchangeable. So, put it in there, all the way down till you get that click. I don't think you can audibly hear the click. I can feel the click though. There you go. How cute is that? Then you can do exactly the same at the top to make smaller of the other shape. So get that centered. I don't know how big my piece of paper is, so can you see I'm just centering it, and I'm going down to where my little points come to the edge of my paper. There you go. That looks straight and centered. Then I'm going to hold the paper while I put this down. She says I've wobbled it. There you go. You can still see the marks there to see that, yes, I have still got it straight and I have still got it centered. And I'm going to come in and cut this again. I think that moved a bit. And I've got a teeny tiny one. Then if I bring my trimmer back in, I can make that as long as I want to. And I've got that again. So yeah, I don't think I wouldn't buy one of these just for junk journaling, but had I already got one, then it could come in handy for making some cute little decorations in your junk journals. So that's that one, and on to the next. Right, I've brought 2 out this time. The reason I've brought 2 out is because I would not buy these just for junk journaling, unless I also wanted to use them for their intended use quite a lot. purpose. That's the word I'm looking for. Now, this one is the gift bag punch board. Yeah, makes brilliant gift bags. One problem I have with it is I can't use this unless I first watch a tutorial on it, because there's too many steps. I forget. It does tell you on here, and yeah, once I've made about 3 or 4 or 5, I can remember how to use it. I have used it, you know, when I used to go to playgroup or school and I wanted to make a batch of gift bags for presents. Perfect for that. Oh, I don't know, maybe you've got 27,000 friends and you send them all a present in a gift bag. This is the board for you. So I'm not going to show you how to make that one, but what I will do is I will link another video by May from May Made It Crafts. Yeah, every punch board I ever got, she is the lady I went to know how to use it properly. So if it's tickling your fancy, that video will be linked. Yeah, I have no confidence in getting this right on camera unless I go away and spend an hour playing with it, and I just don't have that kind of time. But yeah, if you make a lot of gift bags, brilliant. So I'll show you the kind of cut it makes. I'll just grab a piece of card. So you may find some ways to use it, but there are ways to use it. That's the other problem with this. It's too hard to punch on camera. Yeah, I have to be over it. Yeah, it makes that kind of punch. Yeah, I can see uses for that. I can see making pockets. I have made pockets. I've done lots of things with it, but I wouldn't do a tutorial on doing it. And yeah, I'm going to leave May to show you how to use that one if it's tickling your fancy. Right, the next one, it's brilliant. It makes brilliant things when it works, but I don't have that kind. Again, I don't have that kind of time. It makes pockets. Yeah, there's too many steps to it. It's got arms that fling out. If you're wondering why I've got all these punch boards, you know, as a mum, when your kids need to buy you a present for Christmas or birthday, I just went for punch boards. Yeah. So I've got ones that maybe I wouldn't otherwise have bought. It's got that. It's got. I could not make one now without watching a tutorial. So for me, who has a really bad memory, this is not the board for me. I can make that. I can make that with my scoreboard and a circle punch. So I wouldn't go making this. Even if I had lots to make, it would be quicker to make them with a scoreboard and a circle punch. And again, I have a video on making them exactly like that, so I will link that. I've got a video on them making them with envelope punch board. I'll link that as well, and I will also link May's initial video where she showed you how this works. She is quite good. I do like her. So that's that one. That is the pocket punch board. Right, the two I'm going to show you now, they're a bit specific. And what they are, let me just alter my lighting. Right, the lighting's altered. We've got a storm coming in and we keep getting black clouds going across. So it's in and out. And I've also got the boxes out for these. Now, they are the... What are they actually called? I call it a letter. It's called a word punch board. I call it a letter punch board. And the other one is the planner punch board. Now, what these do is they come as one of these, and I didn't know. That one's the word punch board, that's the planner punch board. They're exactly same blooming thing. So I didn't need both of those. I could have just bought the punches that go inside. Now, the idea with those is you put your punches in. These are the punches. I struggle with these. They come apart and I forget how. Put that down, it's casting a shadow. There we go. I suppose, yeah, that might be a me problem. But I want things easy and I want to remember how to use them. And then you pop them in here. Now this has markings that go all the way from, I don't know, 1 to 72. I don't even know what inch they are in. And I find these such a pain to line up. Because, again, it's this light board with... Oh, so let's put 3 of them next to each other. Again, I probably don't have the lighting on my table to use this properly. May, go to May. if you want to buy one. The idea is you can punch holes all the way down a page, yeah? Now, if you've got one of the planners that has 3 holes there and 3 there, there's lists where you can find out exactly where to place these, but, oh, mine eyes. And then, there you go, you've got 3 holes, yeah? I might use this if I'm just making a faux page for a junk journal, but again, it's one of those, if I didn't already have it, I wouldn't buy it for junk journaling. Sorry, I wouldn't. Yeah, there's too many things to remember. You've got to be too precise. There's a little thing here, all your bits get caught, and I can never work out how to get that out. Do we flip it? Do we slide it? I really don't know. There we go, we flip it, and all your bits get caught in the bottom. So, yeah. I loved it when I first got it. I may have used it in a video early on, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm suffering brain rot or whatever, but I can't be faffing with that anymore. I just can't. Right, as a word punch board, I can live with it a little bit more, but look at this. Put your little circles to one side, woman, or they're going to get lost in this avalanche. Are you ready for this? Every letter's separate. There you go. Now, yeah, they all fit together, but if you then can't get them apart, also, it's that colouring again. It's the white on this, I don't know, I'm too old. I think I might be a bit too old for some of these tools. But if you want to faff about with it, if someone's bought it you for Christmas, again, it's the same principle. You put your letters in. That's a Z. I'm not going to spend 3 days looking for a particular word. I'm just not. Maybe if I've got these all stored in a box in alphabetical order, I might want to use them. But that's a lot of hard work, isn't it? Is that a D? That's the D. So I'm going to spell Z. Z. There you go. And I'm going to get this piece of paper out again to do it. So you pop that in. There you go, and you're left with the word Z. Or is it, I don't know, you can't do Z or the whole thing. If D, it would all join up, wouldn't it? And then the middle would fall out and you wouldn't know it were a Z. Now, I mean, that could be a word that you want to use in your junk journal. You could then cut that out, which is what I did. There you go, so you've got a little tag. I mean, I cut that wonky as a donkey, but hey ho, let's straighten up a little bit. There you go. So it cuts that word out. If you wanted a sentiment on a card, you could do it. If you want those letters closer together, it's a bit of a faff. It's a bit of a faff, it is. Because as you can see, that's the nearest the letters will get. You've got to use all these markings. So you put every other letter in. Punch, and then you put every other letter in, and I just can't. I've got them. Yeah, I'm very tempted to stick them on eBay, to be quite honest. I'm not getting the use out of them, and they're not that cheap. So that's your planner punch board and your letter punch boards. I think there's easier ways to do the same thing. I really do. So next is going to be my favourite, the envelope punch board. I think this is where it all started? Is this the first one we, our Memory Keepers, came up with? But to my mind, it's the best one and it's the most versatile. So I'll clear all this gummins off my desk and we're going to play with envelope punch board. And I'm back. So here are my favourite babies, the envelope punch boards. Now they do 2 sizes. The smaller size will make smaller envelopes. You can still, at a push, make the teeniest envelopes on the big one. But this, yeah, the punch is smaller and the corner round is smaller. So it is easier. Now, because I struggle to read this, I'm not going to use this little one on camera. I'm going to use my bigger one. It's the exact same principle, and if you've got better eyes than me, yeah, you'll be fine. I have to use that in really good daylight with my head over it, and then I can see. So, envelope punch board. Right, its most basic use is to make an envelope. And I've just grabbed this pack of papers. These are an old pack of papers. They came from a place in the UK called Every Craft's a Pound. Now, due to inflation and cost of living, they've renamed. They renamed a couple of years back and they became Every Craft's a Bargain. There you go. There weren't many crafts you could get for £1. To be honest, I don't know if they're still going. So, anyway, I digress. Right. On the board, it tells you what paper size you need to make an envelope for a certain size of card. It doesn't tell you the size the envelope's going to come out at. So bear that in mind. A lot of people think they've gone wrong with it because the envelope doesn't measure what it said. So I'm going to start with the most basic. I've got an 8x8 inch piece of paper. So I'm going to look down here and that says that with an 8x8 inch piece of paper, I can make an envelope that will fit a card that measures 6 by 3.5 inches. Is there any others? Quite often you can make more than one size envelope with a particular size of paper. I don't know if there is anything else you can make with the 8-inch one. I used to know all these when I was using it far more. When I was a card maker, I made a lot of my own envelopes. Now, that's the one. So it then tells us we need to line our piece of paper up with this guide at the top. I mean, put yourself in shot, woman, it really helps, especially when you're using a tool. So I need to line it up with 3.5. No, I don't, because that's the size of envelope. This is where it tells you how to line it up. 3 1/8. So I will go along and I will look for the mark 3 1/8. So you put your paper there. You take this scoring tool out. And this how you're supposed to do it is like this. So you go to 3 1/8. You punch. I don't know if punching and scoring in a certain order makes a difference. I've never found it to. Then the idea is you turn your paper anti-clockwise. You line that score mark up with that little pointy bit. And then again you punch and score. And you keep going anti-clockwise. Line it up with the score line. The only time you use that is at the first. I will show you a way to make your envelopes a little bit easier in a minute. Then anti-clockwise again, line that up, that little point with the score line, punch and score. Then if you want to round all these corners, there is a corner rounder on this side. So you only really need to round the ones that you can see, but I'm going to do them all because I don't know which way I'm going to put this envelope together now, do I? So roundy. If you put it in straight, your corner rounding will be really, really neat and nice. Well, I'm struggling. There you go. It's because I'm not over it. So we now have this envelope, so you can fold those two in. Yeah, fold one side up. And then you can see you've got an envelope. Once that's folded, ta-da, you have an envelope. Sometimes you have to cut that off to make that fold. Or another way to do it is like so. To get a tall envelope, you may want to fold that one in last. It's all dependent. If you folded that one in last and cut that down there, or folded it, it just depends what look you want to your envelope. So that's it, a very basic envelope. Now I'm going to show you how I actually use this Punchboard, because I don't use it quite like that. Sometimes I find if you don't line things up properly with that pointy thing, your envelopes don't come out very straight and you have issues. I'm trying to find a piece of paper that is not so they're all garish, look at them. Oh, can you see why I'm just practicing with this paper? So I'm going to make the exact same envelope and I'm going to do it slightly different. So we've got the 8x8 piece of paper and we need to line the first one up at 3 1/8. 3 1/8. So I'm going to punch and I'm going to score. Then what I do is I turn my piece of paper twice and I line it up again at 3 1/8. I just find that my envelope is a little bit more perfect. Then this time I'm going to move it along and I'm going to line that point up with that score, but I'm also going to come down here and I'm going to check, and I want to make sure that this edge is just up to this score line. And I just find that gets you a little bit neater of an envelope. You get the same thing, but I'm just using it slightly differently. So that edge is lined up, that score line is roughly lined up with that. I'm going to score and punch again. I did do this within another video recently, and people asked me to go through it again more slowly. So there you have it, a little bit more slowly. Then you come in, round your corners. Or to be honest, I don't use these corner rounders. I just use my little handheld one. In fact, I'm just going to do it because I find it easier than using that. But you may not have this corner rounder. If you've got it, use it. If you've got it, flaunt it. That's what I say. Whee. And we've got the same envelope there. I just find everything always lines up a little bit more perfect, and you don't get funny little overlaps on your corners if you do it like that. So there you go. The other thing I always do, and I'll show you how I do it, I like to cut that bit off, and I do it by putting a mark there and a mark there. Make that one darker. I don't need to be too perfect about this, so I just pop my scissors up to that mark, my blade there, and I cut. You can be a bit more precise and do it with your scoreboard if you should wish. And then you have an envelope. If you glue it down there, I like to put a little dot there and there. You can go all the way down there if you want. Depends how lazy I'm being. I've seen people say use dry adhesive for this. Then you won't get your envelopes stuck together. Now, I don't like to use dry adhesive for my envelopes. I think it tends to go off over time. If you're worried that your glue's going to seep, get a piece of something like that. This is the backing from some washi tape that I used lately. And I do remember when I made that video, I'm like, save that backing, it comes in handy. And this is what I use it for. It's non-stick, so if your glue does seep, it will go onto there and it won't. You'll be able to get that out. And yeah, it'll just stop your envelope sticking together. If you're heavy-handed with the glue, I always find that to be an handy little tip. So there's our envelope. Right, you can make envelopes of lots of different sizes. Now, another thing I like to make is, you know how we use the file folder punch board? You can do a very similar thing with the envelope punch board. So I'm just going to go back to a piece of cream card. Right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to pop it in. I'm guessing how big my tab's going to be. And I'm going to punch there and I get that shape. Then if I move that end over and I line it up with the centre of the scoreboard, if you're not sure how it's lining up, turn your scoreboard upside down, or you can decide to have it anywhere from there to there. Yeah, it's not going to be a big deal if you don't get it lined up perfectly. And then what I do is I get a ruler and I want to line up. If I use the lines on my map, I know. On my map? That's not a map, it's a mat. Map? Or is it telling you where to go? A map, silly woman. Yeah, I like to line that edge up with that valley. I do a little pencil line. And again, you can cut it off with your trimmer, depending on what kind you've got. Oh, just scissors. I'm getting good at using my scissors these days. And then if we fold that up, that's a very deep file folder, that woman, isn't it? That's very deep, but hey ho. I'm looking for a score tool. My punch board comes with one, doesn't it? There you go. And again, because I've got one, I'm going to use this corner rounder, because it just makes my life much easier than sticking it at the end of that board. So don't you just love that? If you want to keep that as is, keep it as is, or round it if you want. But how good is that? Let's compare that to the one that I made with the file folder punch board. Yeah, there you go. I mean, it makes It makes a different style of tab, doesn't it? But I think you can agree you've got a very similar effect. Now, another thing a lot of people make with the punchboard is bows. And yeah, I'm afraid I forgot how to make bows. So it's only going to be my diehards who are left here now. So let's faff about and figure out how to make a bow. See if I can remember how to make a bow. I'm going to grab this piece of paper and I'm going to cut it to I think I might cut it to a 1-inch strip. I think that would make a good bow. So because I can't make 1-inch strips, I'm going to cut that down to 4. Then I'm going to move it down to 3. And that should leave me with, voila, a 1-inch strip. Is it 1 inch? If you make it a certain size, it will give you a bow. I'm just going to mess. I'm going to punch that there. Yeah, 1 inch. It makes a cute little bow. I mean, that could just be a bow. If you're just decorating something in your junk journal and you just want a nice flat little element, that's your bow finished, isn't it? Let's trim that off. There you go. I don't know how big that end is. Whee. There you go, that's a bow. How cute is that? But we can get a little bit cleverer than that. I'm going to cut this now down to 6 inches. Because it's all coming back to me now. It's all coming back to me now. Oh, I've got some singing in. Right, so, so this is 6 inches long. So if I move that piece of paper up to 3 inches and punch, that's going to punch in the middle for me. Because that measurement is from the middle of your piece of paper that you put in. Well, it's not. It's from middle at punch, not paper. Silly woman. And I'll turn it over and put that at 3 again and do that. Woohoo! And then, what am I going to do? I'm going to line this end up with the middle. Now, we are memory keepers are clever. So many people had started making these bows with this envelope punch board. They actually brought out a punch board that makes bows, and it's called the 3-in-1 punch board. It does envelopes, bows and boxes. Now I think I'm going to have one day. This is wearing out a little bit, so I might transition over to the 3-in-1 punch board, because it also makes boxes, and that's a punch board that I don't have. I don't make enough boxes to need a dedicated punch board. They do so many punch boards. They do ones where you can make letters. Now that, hey, how cute is that? Whee! And we've got a bow, and it's a 3D bow. Let's get some glue on. I'll get some glue on it. Whee! I'm using art glitter because hopefully it'll dry quick. Then as I glue that down, I'm just making sure these edges line up. My bow. There you go. Ta-da! Then another thing you can do, will that hold? If I had a clip somewhere, I'd put one on, but I don't know where they all are. I've tied it up again. What are you doing with them all? Oh, that'll do. Just going to pop that on there, just to make sure that don't pop undone. So I'm going to grab this. Because that was a 6-inch piece of paper, my bow's about 3 inches wide. So I'm going to grab my trimmer. And I want a piece of paper that's a bit longer than 3 inches. Oh, that'll do, 4 inches. I think we can all agree 3 inches is a bit longer than 4. And I'm going to cut a 1-inch wide strip. Again, by the process of elimination. So that's my 1 inch by, is it 4 inch? Yeah, 1 by 4 inch piece. Right, there's people who've done whole videos on just making different bows, and there's lots of different sizes. So yeah, watch one if you like. I did one, I'll link it. So what do we do now? That's it. If you pop that in there, and we're going to punch just the end. Again, if you're not sure if that's in middle, just have a look on underneath at what middle looks like. I told it again, I've messed it up. Yeah, just guess where middle is, woman. Just guess it. Once you get it spot on, what you can do is you can put a mark. Do you know, is edge of that Have I figured that out before and forgot? I'm going to line that up with the edge of that writing, see what occurs. I think that might be a trick, you know. Ish. Ish. That's ish. So it left that one a bit smaller, didn't it? So let's line it up with... Ooh. Line it up with end of that. Let's see what happens. So I know some of you thinking, what's she doing? What's she doing? What's she on about? What's she trying to do? I'm trying to make this end of this bow perfect. It's nearly perfect. Let's cut another piece because I'm right not happy with that. I'm going to cut this one to 1 inch wide again. It's 4 inches by 1 inches. Now I've got 2 to go at here. Come out. Let's see what happens. I think if I just eyeball it, I might actually have a bit more success. Because you can see centre at punch. So I'm just going to eyeball it. Trying to line it up with stuff. There you go. Eyeballing did much better. Now, if you buy this new well, it's not new. It's been around a few years now. That's like calling round wheel new. Back in my day, they were square. So, yeah. I'm not good at lining them up, am I? Bring that back in. Oh, yeah. I've also got to punch the middle out. So we knew this were 4 inches long. Line it up at 2 inches. And punch the middle. There you go. Pop that on. How cute is that? That's just so cute. I don't tend to use these in junk journaling so much. Because I tend to make mine as flat as possible. I like my inside embellishments to be pretty flat. But it'd look pretty good. Come on. Come out. Don't want to come out. It's probably because I never put its pin back in. Let's grab one of others. Whee. I think they're ready for filling up. You know, because I didn't think I was going to be using glue today. I didn't check this kind of thing. And then I've gone all faffy at end, haven't I? So, there we go. How cute is that? A little 3D bow. That's just so sweet. That'd look really pretty out front of a junk journal, wouldn't it? Or you could, I don't know, you could make 26,000 and stick them all over your wall. That'd be very pretty. Now, there are other things you can make with this. I'm not going to go into loads of those today. So what I'll do is I'll link, I think I've done 1 or 2 videos on using this. Other people have done them as well. You can make little bobbin shapes. You can make all sorts. I can't think of them off the top of my head. But that's the basics. So, envelope punch board. We've done the frame punch board. Showed you how to make a frame. And the other one that I really like is this. The tab punch board. Now, as a junk journaler, me personally, and for the kind of things that a lot of us tend to make, these are the only 3 I would buy as a junk journaler for junk journaling. Maybe if I wanted some teeny tiny envelopes, I'd buy that as well. Yeah. The others, yeah, they come in handy. I can use them for things in my junk journaling, but they weren't bought for junk journaling. Some were bought for card making, my banner punch board. I thought, oh yeah, I can make my own banners. I think it was the shock of what one were going to cost on Etsy that thought, oh, I can buy a punch board and make my own for less than that, being a crafter and already having the card and paper. So that's how that one came about. But yeah, these are my 3 favourites. I wouldn't buy the others for junk journaling, but that is my personal opinion. These I do use. I may not use them on camera a lot, but I use them to put extra bits in my journals that I'm selling when I get round to selling some off. I've got about 10 on go at the minute. So I hope that helped you, and I hope you enjoyed it. Links to buy any of these from Amazon, because that's where I get mine from. And like I say, wait until they're cheaper. Yeah, unless you've got the money to, if you've got the cash to splash, don't matter. If you like a bargain like me, just keep an eye on them. See, price the gutter. And yeah, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.